Life is a film that I saw a few days ago and I was supposed to review it this weekend, but then the Justice League trailer happened and we all know how I like to prioritize things. After that Justice League trailer came out, there was pretty much nothing I was going to be focusing on the rest of the weekend. So I'm reviewing Life today instead. And Life is a film that's got a hell of a cast. It's directed by Daniel Espinosa. This movie stars Jake Gyllenhaal, an actor who I'm a huge fan of. In fact, I think he's one of my favorite actors working today. It's got Deadpool in it, you know, with no chimichangas. Ryan Reynolds doing his thing as usual. Got Rebecca Ferguson, the chick from Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, who was probably the most badass part of that entire movie. There's this group of astronauts slash scientists slash researchers who are in space researching Mars, where they're trying to figure out if there is life beyond Earth. They get a hold of these samples from Mars and they find out that these samples actually have life to them. These are actually real biological samples, and so they start studying them. And something bad happens and the sample comes alive and it starts studying them, but not in the way that they want to be studied. Turns into the kind of movie that you expect it to turn into if you see the teaser trailer for this movie. But this was just a weekend of surprises. It just was. This movie surprised me. Let's talk about it. I had a really good time with this movie, guys, and I saw that trailer and I was just kind of like, alright, it looks like an Alien ripoff. I'll still see it. And isn't an Alien ripoff? Well, sort of, but why is that a bad thing? Seriously, a lot of movies have tried to rip off Aliens. Some do it better than others. This is one of those ones that does it better than others. The cast in this movie, terrific job. Everybody gives workman-like performances. Really good work here. I would say if I had to single out anybody as far as my favorite performance goes, it would probably be Rebecca Ferguson. I felt the most for her, and I felt like she gave the best performance in the movie. I have to talk about visually what this movie meant, because Seamus McGarvey, I believe, is the guy who did the cinematography for this movie. This is a guy who has done cinematography for films like The Avengers, Godzilla. He also worked with Gavin O'Connor last year on The Accountant, so this is a guy who knows how to compose great shots. And in this movie, he composes great shots. I mean, he Beethovens that shit. I love the way this film was shot. I love the close-ups. I love the zoom-ins. I love the way that he roamed the camera after people when they're floating through the hallways of this big ship. When I was breaking down the shots of this film, I just couldn't help but notice the unique visual style, and it is a style I've seen him do before in Godzilla and The Avengers, and it works really well here. All of his shots combined with the score for this movie, which is really enthralling and really haunting at the same time. The shots and the music work together to make a claustrophobic, tension-filled, suspenseful movie in space. Those are my favorite aspects of this movie. The fact that it's claustrophobic. You don't know where this thing is coming from. You don't know what this thing is trying to do. The actors really sell you on the intensity and the fear of the situation. The score adds to the heightened drama. And then the shots also finish it off. I mean, this was just all around from a technical standpoint, directing, acting, cinematography, score. This was a win all around for everybody. I also like the fact that in the first half of the movie they tried to ask some of these questions about creating life. You know, in a sci-fi movie like this, I mean, you don't just want a generic sci-fi thriller. I mean, you want a sci-fi movie that's not afraid to ask some of those questions. Those are my favorite types of sci-fi. And in this movie, they asked the question about creating life, and what does creating life mean, and what are the responsibilities of that? Also, if you create a life, and if you interact with that life, what little things would you do or not do, and what could possibly turn that life against you? These are the type of questions they were asking in the first half of the movie, and I really appreciated that. Also, special shout out to the ending. The ending of this film, pretty damn awesome. It's one of those endings where I was expecting it to go a certain way, and then the ending happened, and I was just kind of like, oh, that's it, it's Unfortunately, guys, there are two sides to a coin, and it's time to talk about the tails of this one. Jake Gyllenhaal's character in this film, he's kind of billed as sort of the main character along with Rebecca Ferguson. It's not really clear who is the main character of this one, but you feel like Jake Gyllenhaal's character is the main character. And in that sense, I found his character kind of unfinished. Is that a thing? His character just feels kind of bland, and I feel like there was a little bit something there, but I just didn't really buy his character at all, is what I'm saying. Also, remember those interesting questions that they kind of sort of started to ask in the first half of the movie? Yeah, the second half of the movie, they completely do away with that. Second half of the movie, it pretty much turns into a generic alien thriller monster movie in space. Which, again, you're still entertained by it, but it's not as compelling or as interesting as the first half of the movie that came before it. Really, the biggest problem this movie faces is that it doesn't shake the genre. It's not earth-shattering. It's not a world changer. I mean, you've seen this type of movie before. The biggest comparison is Alien. You've seen other movies mimic that type of formula. This movie in the second half kind of devolves a lot into that formula, which is kind of disappointing. Life is not going to break any records and it's not going to change your life, but I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's got great tension, great performances, terrific cinematography and shots. I was actually kind of sort of close to loving this movie. That ending kind of pushed it over the top for me, but I'm not going to say I love it. I will give it the Silver Age Man of Steel. Alright guys, have you seen Life? What did you think about it? Let me know what your thoughts on Life were down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace!